Hello everyone, it's Felix and I'm here to create a Pokemon team for Ruby Rose. I'm doing this as I like both franchises, also I wanted to make a quick in-between video before making part 2 for Ruby Rivals. Just to give you some context, I'm making this video under the idea that Ruby has always been in the Pokemon world, so she doesn't have any aura or a Scythe sniper rifle, she's just a normal kid that wants to be a Pokemon trainer. I'm also making some of my decisions on a sort of soft Pokemon Ruby AU I have in my head, and I'll try and explain my reasons for certain choices if it ties into that. I'm not exactly a competitive Pokemon player, so most of my choices for Ruby's team will be character based or something else that is tied to Ruby. I'll also go over some of the self-imposed restrictions I've given myself for creating the team, which are no legendaries unless I feel it really fits the character. You might think that's lame, but legendaries are supposed to be legendary, so it doesn't make sense to me to put one on everybody's team just cause. No repeats, this rule is more for if I make more of these videos, and it basically means that I'll try not to give different characters the same Pokemon unless it's in the purpose of something. No making people into Pokemon, which I could imagine having some of you ask what the fuck do you mean? It means that I'm not going to make Wise Pokemon on Ruby's team just because she is her partner. Also, to make this a bit more fun for me, I'm going to add a quick bit on how Ruby got the first 3 Pokemon and her relationship with them. Only the first 3 because those are the ones I would definitely put on her team. The rest you can see as honorable mentions, where I'll still go over why I might put them on the team, but that's it. All the Pokemon that fall under the honorable mention category just never felt right, and instead of forcing myself, I'm doing this. I'm pretty sure that's all I needed to say, so let's get team building. Cypher was the easiest pick for me, as Ruby uses Crescent Rose in the show, which is a Scythe. Cypher, get it? I'm aware that Cypher isn't exactly the most creative pick for Ruby's Pokemon, but it fits really well to the point that I can't not get it. Cypher is the perfect stand-in for Crescent Rose for Ruby, and not just because it has Scythe for hands. No, it's fairly speedy, which fits Ruby's in-show fighting style and semblance. Its evolution is red and a steel type. Why is it important that Sister is a steel type, you ask? Well, given Ruby's steel type Pokemon is an easy way of tying her love for weapons in with a franchise like Pokemon that doesn't have as much of a focus on weapons. It's even better because Sister is the steel type, which represents Crescent Rose, so it kinda goes full circle. So, how did Cypher and Ruby meet? I imagine that when Yang left on her own Pokemon journey, Ruby got lonely not being that social and Yang having been her only playmate. At some point she asked her uncle Crow to help her catch a Pokemon to play with. After a lot of whining, Crow gave in and they went out in the wilds to find Ruby a friend. After a bit of tracking, Crow found the Cypher. At first he wanted to find something a bit safer for a 8-year-old to be around, but when Ruby saw the Cypher it was too late. Ruby thought it was so cool, Crow wanting to be the cool uncle decided to help her catch it. In the end, Cypher was caught and Ruby named her Crescent. In the next 2 years before Ruby could set out on her own journey, she and Crescent became extremely close, they were best friends. The second Pokemon is going to be Zoroark. The reason I picked him is that he fits the big bad wolf from Red Riding Hood perfectly. For those who don't know, the wolf tricks Red Riding Hood by saying, "Oh, why don't you pick some flowers for your grandma?" That way the wolf gets to the grandma's first and then disguises himself as her. Doesn't that sound like something Zoroark would do? It is both known to trick people and its ability lets it disguise as other Pokemon. There were other Pokemon I could have chosen, like Arcanine or Lycanroc, but in the end none of them came close to being as fitting as Zoroark. I imagine when Ruby first meets Zoroark, it will be a Zorua. It will try and trick Ruby into giving it food by pretending to be one of her Pokemon. Maybe Crescent, the Cypher, figures it out and a battle ensues. Zora will get beaten and retreats, but after that, it will keep following Ruby trying to get food. Zora doesn't just follow Ruby because of the food, he's also quite prideful of his illusions and didn't like how Cypher saw through it. Later on, something will happen where Zora helps out Ruby and at that point he evolves into a Zoroark. Ruby will ask him to join the team afterwards, he agrees and is named Charlie. He is named after the guy that first published Little Red Riding Hood. Ruby and Zoroark will have a playful relationship. Zoroark enjoys playing pranks on Ruby and she goes along with it. Ruby is fairly childish, so it's fun for her too. The next Pokemon I picked for Ruby is a Riolu that will turn into a Lucario. I have 2 reasons for this. Reason 1, Riolu is fun, energetic and extraordinarily loyal Pokemon. Sounds like a certain Reaper I know. Second, it is said that Riolu and Lucario can sense the emotions of a person via their aura. And while Ruby says she is socially awkward, she can be very empathetic. Think about when she helps John get his shit together. Overall I think Riolu/Lucario is a solid pick. I like the idea of Riolu finding Ruby and not the other way around. Apparently Riolus are fairly picky about who they want their Pokemon trainers to be. So the Riolu Ruby is going to catch will challenge trainers to fights to see if they are worthy of being his partner. Ruby will be deemed worthy after some anime shenanigans. That's it for Lucario. I know it's a lot shorter than the other two, but fuck it, it's my video, I can do what I want. Lucario will be Ruby's powerhouse on the team, the one she defaults to when things get rough. Honorable mention time. Mimikyu was the closest to getting the same treatment as those first three, but in the end it felt just short. I kept coming back to it as just didn't feeling right. The main reason why I considered Mimikyu was more to show an aspect of Ruby's personality. In the show, it is shown that she doesn't care what you are. You can see it with Penny where she accepts her being a robot no problem. So yeah, close but barely not. Lycanroc Midnight Form and Mightyena were both candidates for the big bad wolf on Ruby's team, but Zoroark just fitted better overall, so too bad for them. Arcanine and Bullhunt were both considered for Swipe, but I wanted to save those two for the other people I might cover, and Lucario had more than just being a dog Pokemon. I really wanted Bisharp on the team to give Ruby more steel types, but in the end I couldn't think of a better reason than it's red and sharp. Roserade because Rose is in his fucking name, come on, but the reason ended up being just too weak. If I couldn't put Roserade on the team, then Florges might have been a good pick. It even gave me some Vice vibes, but no making people into Pokemon. Well, that was it. I couldn't pick 6 Pokemon for Rui, that kinda sucks, but whatever. The only real purpose of this video was to be a palate cleanser, so it's cool. The next video will be part 2 of Ruby Rivals, so look forward to it.